That was Snail Mail with My Maker on CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya Noel, and you are listening to The Late Morning Show, and we also listened to Luka Kaplowski with The Grass Grows, Luka Grows. Next up, we have Sammy Volkov with A Matter of Time, and Garrett Cato and Dee Holt with Chasing a Thread.
CHMA is very excited to bring to you the CHMA Atlantic Update each weekday. We present daily news from the Canadian press from all the Atlantic provinces at 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m.
Hi, I'm Ian Hanamansing. A million years ago, I worked on CHMA. Great to hear it's still going so strong. Hi, I'm Ian Hanamansing, and you're listening to CHMA.
The time is 9 o'clock, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
CHMA is continuing its candidate interview series ahead of Tantramar's municipal election on May 11th. I'm Clinton Davis, here in Tantramar. Yesterday, I sat down with Casey Hingley, one of two candidates running for the Ward 5 council seat. In our brief 5-minute interview, Hingley says he wants to bring a new voice to the ward with a focus on local concerns, good governance, and arts and culture. But first, Mount Allison University is getting a major new investment in environmental research, with the school announcing a $2.6 million gift to support a new sustainability fund. The university says the Brenton Wood Environmental Sustainability Research and Initiatives Fund will help students and faculty carry out interdisciplinary research tied to environmental issues. The announcement was made on Monday during a special event on campus. Mount Allison says the gift comes from philanthropists Andrew Brenton, a Mount Allison alumnus, and Kerry Wood. According to the university, the fund will support work in areas including aquatic biomonitoring, freshwater ecosystems, GIS, sustainability practices, and environmental change, while also backing one of the priorities in Mount Allison's strategic plan. And now for our feature story with Ward 5 Council candidate Casey Hingley. Here's our conversation. I'm happy to be here with Casey Hingley, who is running for councillor in Ward 5. How are you today, Casey?
I'm awesome, Clinton. It's so good to be here with you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come all the way down to CHMA. I'll start off with the first question, and that's simply, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I can, surprisingly. I've been with me for most of my life, and I'm here to tell you all about it. So I am originally from British Columbia. My family and I moved out to New Brunswick, particularly, specifically to Ward 5, Point to Butte, about 4 years ago. And we came for lots of reasons, but the moral of the story is when we arrived here, we fell in love with the lifestyle, the people, the town, and I particularly have embraced the way I've been telling people as I knock on their door that I was born a suburb in British Columbian, but I identify as a rural New Brunswicker. So that's where I am at now. I work at Mount Allison in the music department. I've been there about 3.5 years. Thanks to Mount Allison for having us. The last 2 years, I've also been the president of MASA, which is the union for the secretarial, technical, and clerical staff.
Amazing. And why are you running in the municipal election this year?
Well, like I said, I love the town. I love the place. I wanted to give back. Politics is something that has interested me for a long time. In fact, I even considered running in the last election, the first time that Ward 5 was brought into the town of Tantramar. However, I hadn't been here in this town long enough. And in a way, I'm really glad that it worked out that way because, yes, it would have been nice to have run. It would have been great that the previous, the incumbent in my position that I'm running for had some competition because it was an acclamation last time. But because I've spent these last 4 years getting busy. I've got organized with the union. I spent a year as the communications officer, 2 years as the president. I've been honing my skills as a negotiator, a public speaker, someone who is happy to dig into a policy and find out, not just what the policy says, but what that means for the people and how changing it might affect people. I've seen change. I've seen things that people in leadership are trying to make changes that haven't been properly expressed to the people, in my opinion. I've seen that here at Mount Allison. I've seen it in the town, and I see a town that is growing up. We are just in our second term now, our second 4 years as the town of Tantramar. I think there is room for new voices. Hopefully we also have some experience on this council as it comes up, but I am looking to be the new voice for our community out in Ward 5 and a strong voice in Tantramar itself.
Thank you for that. And final question, if elected on May 11th, what do you hope to accomplish?
Okay, well, I've developed a 3-point platform for this election, being 1 out of 8 councillors plus a mayor. No one person is going into this with the ability to make unilateral change. I'm not here to say I'm definitely going to do this, but there are some things that I think that I can steer the ship in a certain way. And the first one having to do with Ward 5 itself. What I'm hearing from the people when I walk around, knock on doors, is that there's little problems. There's things that haven't been addressed, maybe when it was part of a local servicing district for the province. Now that we're part of a town, they still haven't been addressed, and I think they're easy enough to remedy. One of my neighbors said, we've got a little green bar sign that says point to Butte when you drive by. Now that we're part of a town, can't we get a nicer sign? I said, that's probably a pretty good request. I know some people out on Point to Butte Road and Carter Cross Road that are concerned about the speed limits. I live on Highway 16 myself. I think it wouldn't hurt anyone to drive a little bit slower on Highway 16 in the areas where there's houses. But the speed limits on Point to Butte Road are 80 kilometers an hour, which is wild for a small farm road. So the second platform item is good governance. I'm going to keep this one a bit short because this is what you're going to hear from a lot of the town candidates. There are some issues that need to be taken care of. Of course, we've got issues in the fire department. We've got issues with the gas plant just up the road. I want to be a strong voice. I want to hear from my people in my riding. And I want to move forward with really, really good decisions on that. And the last one, which I haven't heard from anyone else, is arts and culture. I think the town is a little bit too reliant on this wonderful institution, Mount Allison, to bring arts and culture to us. But I think arts and culture, a long-term goal for me would be a cultural center that can bring touring artists, can develop local theater companies, and also display local and other touring arts, as the case may be.
Thank you so much for your time, Casey. I wish you the best of luck come May 11th, and we wish the same for all the candidates.
Thanks, Clinton.
That was Casey Hingley, a candidate for councillor in Ward 5. CHMA will continue speaking with local candidates in the lead up to voting day. As always, feel free to come to us with your questions, concerns, comments, or story ideas at news@chmafm.com. For CHMA News here in Tantramar, I'm Clinton Davis.
Hi, I'm Cassie, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM.
And here is your CHMA Atlantic update. Victims of sexual abuse at the hands of a former St. John, New Brunswick police officer can now seek compensation. New Brunswick's Court of King's Bench has approved a $16.5 million settlement for survivors of sexual abuse committed by Kenneth Estabrooks. Court-appointed administrator KPMG says the abuse happened between 1953 and 1975 when Estabrooks was a police officer. Victims have until April 2027 to submit their claim. Police in southeastern New Brunswick handed out dozens of tickets in a recent enforcement blitz. RCMP say 97 tickets and 200 warnings were issued over about 2 weeks. Officers also suspended licenses, towed vehicles, and laid several charges. Police say the effort is aimed at improving safety on local roads. A Hells Angels hitman has pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the deaths of a Nova Scotia couple more than 25 years ago. 56-year-old Les Douglas Greenwood was to face a third first-degree murder trial for the killings of the couple in Annapolis Valley after 2 previous convictions were tossed on appeal. Last month, he pleaded guilty to the lesser charges of manslaughter and was sentenced 15 years on each charge to be served concurrently. Greenwood was already served a life sentence for killing 2 men in Montreal in 2010. Nova Scotia RCMP have charged a man with a series of firearm offenses. Police say they responded to a fight between 2 people in Yarmouth Friday and determined one of them was in possession of a firearm. A public safety alert was then issued directing people to shelter in place, and a 30-year-old man was later arrested in his home. A shotgun was seized, and the man is facing 16 offenses, including possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose and tampering with a firearm serial number. 10 recent nurse practitioner graduates will soon join the healthcare system in PEI. Health PEI says 7 of the new recruits will work in primary care in Charlottetown, Summerside, and Montague. The others will serve in specialty roles to strengthen key areas across the island, such as seniors and acute care. The Health Authority says it remains committed to ongoing recruitment. Is a sure sign of spring. The city of St. John's, Newfoundland is lifting its winter parking ban. The ban had been in place since January to make way for snow clearing operations. It was extended to April 18th because of a chance of winter weather, but the city announced Monday that the ban is now officially lifted. The city can still ban vehicles in the event of a late spring snowstorm and fine anyone who breaks it. And that has been your CHMA Atlantic Update.
Hey, this is Eddie here, your hometown realtor, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM, Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now for the weather. Today we're looking at showers ending near noon, then cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers or drizzle. Fog patches dissipating in the morning with wind going east 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light in the afternoon with a high of 7 and a UV index of 2 or low. In the evening, cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers or drizzle in the evening, and then a low of +5. On Thursday, April 16th, cloudy skies with a high of 14, and then showers at night with a low of 6. On Friday, April 17th, cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 13, then cloudy skies in the evening with a low of 0. On Saturday, April 18th, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 9, then cloudy skies at night with a 30% chance of showers and a low of +5. On Sunday, April 19th, cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 15. Then at night, cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and a low of +5. Finally, on Monday, April 20th, cloudy with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 8. And that has been the weather.
Hey, this is Elwood. Keep that dialogue on 106.9 FM.
And here's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
NBA play-in tournament began last night with 2 games on the docket. It was an overtime thriller, but LaMelo Ball saves the Hornets season with a last-second layup. The Hornets defeat the Miami Heat 127-126 to eliminate the Heat from the postseason, and the Hornets will go on to face the winner of tonight's game between Orlando and Philadelphia on Friday to try to get the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. In the Western Conference, it was as simple as the Portland Trailblazers defeating the Phoenix Suns in the 7-8 place game, 114-110. So Portland will go on to face San Antonio, and Phoenix will have another shot at the postseason later this week. Speaking of the postseason, the NHL season, it finishes up tomorrow on Thursday. Last night, just some housekeeping games. The Bruins with a 4-0 victory over the New Jersey Devils. Bruins are postseason bound. Hurricanes, best record in the East. They defeat the New York Islanders, a 2-1 final there. Flyers still fighting the good fight. They defeat the playoff-bound Montreal Canadiens 4-2. It was Washington 2-1 over the Blue Jackets in two teams that won't be seeing the postseason. Wild defeat the Ducks 3-2. Mammoth defeated the Jets 5-3. It was the Avalanche defeating the Flames in their last regular season game in the Saddle Dome. 3-1 final there. St. Louis Blues with a 7-5 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. And in overtime, the Vancouver Canucks finished their season with a W over the playoff-bound Los Angeles Kings. 4-3 final there. And the women's side of the ice, it was the Vancouver Golden Knights at home defeating the Seattle Torrent. 4-1 final there. And Major League Baseball action. Toronto Blue Jays gave up a 3-run lead in the bottom of the ninth, only to come back and win it in the 10th inning. 9-7 victory for the Jays down in Wisconsin. They beat the Milwaukee Brewers. 9-7 final there. 1-run games all over the place. The Houston Astros defeat the Colorado Rockies 7-6. Dodgers defeat the Mets 2-1. Athletics defeat the visiting Texas Rangers 2-1 at home in Sacramento. And it was also the Detroit Tigers with a 2-1 victory over the Kansas City Royals. Cincinnati Reds defeat the Giants, yes, by 2-1. It was a 6-5 victory for Atlanta over Miami. 4-3 for the D-backs over the Orioles. 5-4 for the Nationals over the Pirates. And finally, your San Diego Padres with a easily victory over the Seattle Mariners 4-1.
And that's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update. Please be sure to check out Brian's show on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. for more sports commentary.
You're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
Seniors, students, newcomers, and community members are all welcome at a neurodivergent affirming coffee hour every Wednesday downtown Sackville at 110 Main Street. That's the Sackville United Church from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Join the crew from Open Sky Cooperative in coffee and conversation. Don't forget the free snacks. Everybody loves free snacks. See you there.
Hey folks, if you're looking for a way to spend your Saturdays, Duckies is hosting Open Mic Night every other Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. Bring your acoustic music, poetry, comedy, or whatever creative spark you've got and take the stage, or just sit back and soak up the vibes with your friends. That's Open Mic Night at Duckies, celebrating local voices and good energy. See you there.
And that was your CHMA News. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramara's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com.
Listen to the night shift every Sunday at 9 p.m. on CHMA to hear Luca Capone spin a diverse, adventurous mix of sounds from psychedelic jazz to experimental hip-hop, tropicalia to music concrete, and a heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. This is a show you don't want to miss out on.
Hey guys, you are in fact listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, Voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya Noel, and this is the Late Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, April 15th. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. We have some songs for you, so we're going to jump into it. First up, we have Ari Lennox with Under the Moon, and Bria Isabel with Looking Out for You.
So 3 bacon cheeseburgers, no lettuce, no tomato, no cheese, no onion, no bun, no fries.
Yep.
Oh, and he said no silverware.
Yes, no silverware, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I eat with my hands. It's a paleo thing.
talking, kills some hours reminiscing. You lost your temper like all the time, and I don't think you found it. Climbing down the family tree through old depressive tendencies, looking for the answers with no seatbelts in the backseat. You were born a time bomb set to go off before it all goes wrong. Broken bones and dialed tones since we were 17. Oh, it kills me, it's not easy. I'm gonna let myself down. Looking out for you. I feel guilty. You can only find me a way to get through. Looking out for you. Weighing all the words that I'm not saying. You're walking a straight line, but I can see your hands are shaking. Quiet, but your mind, it just keeps racing. When it all comes down, yeah, I'll be waiting. Oh, it kills me, it's not easy. I'm gonna let myself down. Looking out for you. I feel guilty. You can only find me a way to get through. Looking out for you. It's harder than I wish it was. You say the life is just too much. It's harder than I wish it was, but in the end, it's only you. Oh, it kills me, it's not easy. I'm gonna let myself down. Looking out for you. Oh, it kills me, it's not easy. I'm gonna let myself down. Looking out for you. I feel guilty. You can only find me a way to get through. Looking out for you.
That was Bria Isabel with Looking Out For You on CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, Voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya Noel, and you are listening to The Late Morning Show, and we also listened to Under the Moon by Ari Lennox. Next up, we have Jessica Spurrell with The Gentle Hand and Isanabe with Dreamcatcher.
And as the twilight fell, the sky became a wishing well. I gave my offering, a lucky coin, a silver thing. Prayed for the morning light, the end in sight, an answer. When out from the ink it came, a simple touch, an ember, delicate and profound. Surrender, comfort is all around us. Something shifts, an amethyst of a morning, twists and blisters into blue light. Something stirs, a howling cur with a warning, scorns and spurs at what you can't quite understand. A gentle hand, release her best to handle